Greetings, everyone. Peace and blessings be upon you all. Welcome to another episode where I do my best to answer some questions about the Ahmadi religion of peace and light. A disclaimer that I must mention is that the things I'm going to say during this episode, they're not necessarily the opinions of the religion itself officially. They are just my best try, so to speak, at answering the questions as best as I can based on my understanding of our religion. So let us begin. The first question is, what criticisms or misunderstandings do you most often encounter about your religion, and how do you respond to them? The most common criticism that I've seen of this religion is just people blatantly saying that it's false without knowing anything about it. This religion speaks towards the truths in many of the world religions. The goal of it is to unite all of the world religions under one understanding, into one unification of one singular religion, because we believe that the prophets and messengers throughout history, they were all sent by God, and they all had the same religion. And if you pay close attention to the different world religions, you can easily tell that they're all the same religion. However, humanity has had many years to corrupt those religions of their original messages and make them seem like they're different religions, where in reality they're the same religions. So you'll have a person who knows nothing about the religion whatsoever. They may be a Christian, for example, and because they believe that Jesus Christ is the only way to heaven and the only way of salvation and the only way of having your sins forgiven, they immediately say that any other message of any other prophet or messenger is false, and they essentially believe that there were no other prophets after Jesus Christ. They believe that Jesus was the final prophet, and God never sent us any prophets for the last 2,000 years. Some misunderstandings about our religion. I can speak for myself based on when I first discovered the religion. I can speak to my own misunderstandings that I had. When I first discovered the religion, I was concerned that this was, for lack of a better word, a cult. We look at our leaders who are calling towards, and I mean the leaders of this religion, and they call towards basically more or less giving your life, all of your life's efforts, your financial resources. This religion calls towards everybody giving everything they have that they can give for the cause of this religion. And at first, it might seem like just another cult. There are many different cults throughout human history. Many of them have gone completely backwards and horribly wrong. One example is that group who killed themselves en masse by drinking. People say they drank a bunch of Kool-Aid and they all ended up dead in Guyana, and there's another group that ended up getting in a shootout with the United States government in America. Basically, the idea of a cult has very negative associations with it, obviously. And many people, upon seeing this religion, they would identify it as being a cult. However, if we look at the history of the different prophets and messengers, be it Jesus, be it Muhammad, they and their followers were considered to be cult members. Jesus was considered to be a cult leader by the Jews who lived in his time, who didn't believe him. Muhammad was seen to be a cult leader during his time, where the people who disagreed with him, they said, oh no, this man is a false prophet, so to say. They said, do not follow this man. However, you cannot judge a book by its cover, the famous saying. If you look into the teachings of Jesus Christ, his teachings were pure teachings. He wasn't calling towards anything of corruption. And same with Muhammad. Jesus and Muhammad, they were among the greatest of God's creation. The things that they taught the people would have led them, if humanity had listened to them, humanity would have existed in a paradise on earth because of the teachings of these two prophets and messengers. If you look at almost any prophet or messenger throughout history, the people who disagreed with them always had bad things to say about them. But when you actually listen to the teachings of the prophets and messengers, it becomes obvious that they're not upon falsehood, but that they are upon truth. So we know there's this line, there's this dividing line between true prophets and messengers and false prophets and messengers. And one of the tests you can use is by looking at the fruits of their labor. Our leader, one of our leaders, Abdullah Hashim, many people would look at him and they would get the wrong idea about him. They would think that he's just another cult leader who are going to lead the people astray. But when you pay attention and actually research the things that he is saying, when you listen to his teachings, his revelations on the different world religions, you will find nobody who speaks more righteously or intelligently, and you will find no one else who has a vision for humanity on how to properly move forward, so that instead of this world being a hell ruled ruled by tyrants and warlords and greedy people, the billionaires and the trillionaires. He's calling towards a society and a world that is led by people with pure hearts and pure teachings, the teachings of the prophets and messengers. So that's one of the misunderstandings that many people are going to have about this religion, is that it's a cult. When in reality, this is a pure religion. We believe the souls of those who are with us were sent by God so that humanity may be turned towards God and towards his good virtues, so that the tyrants and the evil souls, their rule will come to an end in our time. Another question is, why do you choose to remain a member of this religion despite controversy, ridicule, or skepticism? At this point, they could throw at me all the controversy in the world. I know that the history of other prophets and messengers from different religions, there was always controversy associated with them. The evil people, they love to make up lies to try and ridicule the prophets and messengers so people don't listen to them. Same thing with this religion. This religion does have controversies. But all that matters to me is the truth. And all that matters to me is making this world a better place. They ridicule us. They call us every negative name in the book. But again, all that matters to me is the truth. I've always been a seeker of the truth all my life. I've never been one to just believe anything somebody tells me. It has to make sense to me first. So no amount of ridicule will make me turn away from the truth. That this religion is the prophesized religion that was foretold in many different world religions, that one day a group of people would rise so that goodness and God's rulership reign over the earth. Skepticism. I've always been a skeptical person. There are many things within religion, many different religions, where sometimes the people may be intentionally led astray or intentionally told something that is false to either make them think for themselves, or it is what is known as a sifting of true faith. Things in religion that bring up skepticism within us, they are like a sieve. or a gold pan. And the idea of certain concepts that some people might be skeptical of, they are but that pan sifting gold from sand. Those of us who are upon this religion, so much truth has been revealed that even when we come across things we may be skeptical of, we still hold tight to this religion, because there is no other religion on the face of this earth that wants to unify humanity and unify all of the world religions and actually have the knowledge and the authority to back it up. We're the only religion claiming the authority that we are the ones who will rule the planet through love and through truth, through equity, through our society being a shining example among all societies. So even when other people are skeptical of the ideas of our religion, sometimes they just don't understand. And even at times where we, the believers, are skeptical of certain ideas, we know, because of the history of the other prophets and messengers, that these hesitations or these questionings are but a sifting of true faith. One example that's the easiest for me to remember is Noah told the people that the flood was going to come 10 times before it finally came. And in those 10 times, each time that he said the flood would come and it didn't come, some people left the religion. They got caught in the sieve, and they did not pass through the test of faith until at the very end, very, very few people, only the purest of faith, only those who would have said, Noah, even if the flood never comes, we still will follow you, because we know that you're the messenger of God who will lead us towards prosperity. Another question is, how has this faith affected your inner life, your sense of purpose? Before this religion, I was lost. Just prior to discovering this religion, to speak nothing of the years before that time, where I was completely lost and wasn't even searching for God. But just in the time before I found this religion, I was a person who was searching for God and could not find him. I saw God's light in this world, but even then I was lost and confused. In searching for God, I said, where is God? What is God? God must be the universe itself, is what I said to myself. And I began worshiping this creation as if it was God. But deep down inside, I knew that this creation, this universe, was a false creation. It's filled with suffering. It's filled with death. It's filled with destruction. It's filled with evil. How could this universe that we live in possibly be God? I knew. When I discovered this religion, the truth was revealed to me that the creator of this universe was Satan, and that God was above Satan, above this creation, that God gave no permission for this universe to be created in the first place. It was an act of a lesser creator. So once I discovered that essentially we are all souls who are trapped in a prison of Satan's creation, I gained true life purpose. Once the truth was revealed to me, the purpose of my life was to glorify the name of God and try to guide people towards the truth in this sea of confusion. My life's purpose was to find my soul brothers and soul sisters and unite with them so that together we may unite and together make all of our dreams come true, of bringing peace and prosperity to this earth, of turning souls who otherwise would be lost, turn them towards God, turn them towards God's messenger, Abdullah Hashim. There is no higher purpose than to follow the person whom God sent. In every day and age and place in the universe where people can comprehend the idea of God, God sends prophets and messengers so that the beings there may be turned towards the truth. Otherwise, without the prophets and messengers, people would be lost. How else would people come to know the truth unless the truth was sent to us? Another question is, what do you believe your religion offers to the world at this moment in history? We offer to the world salvation. The world today is a wicked, wicked, evil place. People are starving to death. while the rich hoard so many resources. It's pure evil. People are economically enslaved. People are spreading false religion. People are spreading corrupted ideas of the true teachings of the prophets and messengers. That's why you see the religions fighting each other all the time. The Israelis, they want to kill the Muslims. The Christians today, they're talking about another crusade all over the internet. The Muslims, they've gone completely astray from the Prophet Muhammad's teachings and the 12 Imams' teachings. And they're the furthest thing from Islam. This world is at each other's throats. This religion, what we have to offer, is the only solution to the problems. The solution to the world's problems today are to unite the peoples of all the world religions under one understanding of truth, one understanding of God. The goal of this religion is for the believers of this true religion to unite so that the tyrants and evil people of this world who are hoarding all the resources and keeping humanity enslaved, that we dethrone them from their places of power. So that there is no starving people. So that there is no poor people. So that there is no more wars. What we have to offer humanity at this point in human history is their only chance to avoid destruction. Another question. If someone were considering joining your faith, what would you tell them to reflect on deeply before making that decision? Anyone who is considering joining this faith, we ask that you listen to what we have to say and think about it deeply yourself. Really pay attention to what we're saying, what we're calling towards, and ask yourself if you feel that this is righteous. You must also reflect on how serious this religion is. This isn't like a Sunday school. This is a movement. This is a revolution. Many of us have given our lives, I can't speak for myself, but many of us have given our lives completely to this religion so that humanity might have a chance of being saved from destruction. If you join us, how much are you willing to do? What might you be willing to lose? Above all, we ask anyone who's considering our religion is to think for themselves. We're not asking anybody to just have blind faith. We're asking you to do your proper research, read our books, listen to our videos, listen to what the companions and followers of our faith have to say, and see if it reigns true for you. And if you already believe in God, ask God yourself, truthfully, whether our religion is false or if it's true. Another question is, how does your religion understand authority and succession? One of the ways, first of all authority is to God and God alone. And so, if all authority is to God and God alone, we must look for the people who are teaching the truths and virtues of God and actually living by them. We believe the prophets and messengers throughout human history of different world religions, that they were those people who called to the supremacy of God, taught God's virtues, and are the people whom, had they have been followed, they would have guided humanity to prosperity. So the way to give authority to God is to give authority to the prophets and messengers. And when a prophet or messenger appoints somebody to come after them, we must obey that appointment. This is not a democracy. With democracy, the majority of people, what they say goes. But if you look at human history, many times, probably more often than not, the majority of people make the wrong decisions. And the majority of people are ignorant. It is only the small minority of people on this planet who are actually pure of heart. So are you going to listen and give authority to the choice of the majority? Or are you going to give authority to the minority, the human beings who demonstrate actual knowledge and who live by the knowledge? Because it's one thing to say knowledge, it's another thing entirely to demonstrate that knowledge and live by that knowledge. That is how we see authority. If we just listen to the prophets and messengers, then we cannot go wrong. And in our faith, we believe that the prophets and messengers have all returned in this time, and that what are called the Mahdis, the 12 Mahdis, the ones who come after the 12 Imams who were appointed by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him and his family. The 12 Mahdis were prophesied in many different religions. They are the rulers or the leaders of the prophets and messengers. Another question is, how do you reconcile extraordinary claims such as long life, divine appointment, or the return of souls? So, when it comes to the extraordinary claim of long life, the 12th Imam lived about 1,000 years ago. He was born about 1,000 years ago. And we believe that he has returned today, and he appointed in person Imam Ahmed al-Hassan, which is the first Mahdi. And then Ahmed al-Hassan appointed Abdullah Hashim as the second Mahdi, and Abdullah Hashim appointed Ali Reza as the third Mahdi of 12 Mahdis. And people might ask, how is it possible that a man who lived 1,000 years ago would still be alive today to appoint somebody in person? I understand where that skepticism comes from. I'm a skeptical man myself. All I can say for sure excuse me, is that God is not bound by the laws of this creation. If God truly, if the creator of all creation, the source of all creation, if he sends a prophet or messenger and either wants to extend that person's life by 1,000 years or cause that person to somehow return 1,000 years from a specific time, there's nothing stopping the Creator from doing anything. That's one of the core tenets of faith, whether you're a skeptical person or not. We believe that the Creator of the universe, not the Creator of this universe, the Creator of all creation, the source above all sources, he can do whatever he wants. And if that means a man lives 1,000 years, then so be it. Because if I disbelieve and I don't have faith that God can truly do whatever he wishes, then I wouldn't be a part of this religion. I'd just be another one of the lost souls living in this hellish place with no proper direction and no group to guide me towards victory. Divine appointment. This concept of divine appointment is another question people have. How can God appoint anyone? God can communicate with people. Again, this is all about faith. You either have an open mind or you have a closed mind. The Creator, the source of all creations, He can communicate with human beings through intuition, through visions, and through dreams. I myself have had dreams, and I have had things happen in my life that would suggest that God is steering me in a certain direction. This idea of divine appointment is that you either believe that God can appoint people or guide people on missions in this world, or your mind is closed and whatever happens in your life happens, and the history of mankind will just be a continuous cycle of everyone hating each other, and all the world religions will stay corrupted and in states of hatred, and the tyrants will continue to rule over you, and what else can I say? Another concept people are skeptical of is the return of souls. And like I mentioned in the last episode, the best thing I can say for the return of souls is that before you were alive, you were dead. And then you found yourself born onto this planet after being dead. You weren't, and then you were. So who is to say that the soul that is eternal doesn't exist? And that when you die on this earth, who is to say that you aren't reborn again, just as you were dead before you got here in the first place, in this incarnation you're experiencing right now? It's either one of two options. Either reincarnation is real, or it's not. All I care about is the truth. If reincarnation is not real, and this whole universe is, if we only live one time, then there's not much to understand about that. It's pretty easy to wrap your head around. But if reincarnation does exist, then I want to be prepared. And I want to understand how that works. Because at the end of all things, I want to be free. I don't feel like I really belong in this physical universe. And so if you can reincarnate and I can reincarnate, then it follows, and it's also spoken of in many religious traditions, not just that reincarnation exists, but that the souls of prophets and messengers themselves can reincarnate. Because the soul is eternal, and the body is but a karmic vessel for the souls. And in our tradition, a prophetic soul, or one of the 124,000, not only can they reincarnate, but they can incarnate in seemingly infinite or almost infinite bodies all at once, because There's a lot of worlds in this massive, massive universe. We don't even know how big it is. And if there's only 124,000 souls, and they have to be sent to all the worlds, then right now as we speak, they would be incarnated in many bodies all at the same time. The last question that I'll touch on for today is, do you believe your religion is meant for all humanity or for a specific group at this stage of history? I truly believe this is a religion for everyone. Even the atheists, even the Satanists, any member of any religion. It's for everyone, because at the end of the day, no matter which group you currently belong to right now, all that matters for everyone is finding the truth. And I swear to you, I know you might not believe me, but I swear to you, as a truth seeker, as someone who has been through atheism and disbelief, this religion is the truth. It reveals a proper description of reality, and it properly, logically unites all of the different religions in the truths that they bear. Everyone just wants to live a good life. If you talk to almost anyone, we want the wars to stop. We want religions to stop killing each other and hating each other. We want the rich people to stop hoarding all the resources and making us all poor. The only people I would say that this religion isn't for is for anyone with a truly evil soul, who all they want from life is selfish things, and all they get joy out of is watching other people suffer. Those are the people who this religion is not for. But everyone else, the vast majority of souls on this planet, whether they realize it or not, this religion is for them. We want to save you. We want to unite you with your brothers and sisters. We want to remove hatred from your hearts. All you have to do is begin to look into this religion, and you will see that God sent his lights into this dark prison world so that the souls may see that light, recognize the light for what it is, and be guided out of this prison. So that the light that was trapped in this world, the souls, might be reunited in higher realms with that from whence they originated. From. I hope that I was able to describe things in a logical and easy to understand and reasonable way. I wish all of you peace and blessings, and may your path to Almighty God be a straight path. I love you very much.